least one of them in the AFC Championship game. They had gone 15 of the last 16 years with at least one of them in the Super Bowl, with the only Joe Flacco weaseled his way in 1 year. But aside from that, it's been one of those three guys. So what you had there was unprecedented health. Brady missed 1 year. Peyton missed 1 year. Aside from that, those guys were never injured. And Big Ben, while often dinged until this year, never a significant injury. You also had, especially for Brady and for Ben, great organizational structure around them to where they didn't have to be brilliant each and every season. So do I think these three guys, Patrick, Deshaun, and Lamar, are going to go on a 2-decade run like those three guys did? No. But do I think the next decade, the 2020s, you will have at least one of these guys in the conference championship game every year? Absolutely. Now, they have things working against them. Lamar's got to show us the ability to perform in the postseason. Deshaun will have to continue to overcome coaching and within an organization that, by the way, Texans have never been to a single AFC Championship game. The glass ceiling on that franchise has been the divisional round ever since they became a franchise. But Patrick will take care of that in the meantime. Patrick Mahomes has been a starter for 2 years. They have made 2 AFC Championship games. An organization that had never hosted an AFC Championship game and had never been to back-to-back AFC Championship games has now done it 100% of the seasons. Patrick Mahomes has been the starter. So I think he will be a stalwart on one side of the bracket. And I think Watson and Lamar, and maybe Baker Mayfield will have something to say about that if he gets his career back on track. But aside from that, Brandon, I don't see who else is en route. I don't see it that level of success coming for Sam Darnold or Josh Allen. And Phillip Rivers is done, and Brady is done, and Big Ben might very well be done. So I don't know who the other competitors would be. So I don't know if they can go on a 2-decade run the way those three guys did. But I think the 2020s in the AFC will be dominated by Patrick, Deshaun, and Lamar.
I think they'll go on a run, and this is why. Patrick Mahomes himself alone, he's the best quarterback in football. No matter who's in his division, with Phillip Rivers leaving, I think Denver likes Lock right now. And Oakland with Derek Carr, that's going to be in Vegas. He's going to be in the middle of the pack. You know, he might make the wild card, but the Chiefs are going to win the division here for a long time. So that's why I think he can go on that run. And the thing about Lamar Jackson, why he can get deep in the postseason, is because just like Brady, I don't think his division will be really tough in the upcoming years. Pittsburgh, they're going to lose Big Ben. Do they like their backups? I think they like them, but they don't love them in Mason Rudolph. Cincinnati, they might go Burrow, they might go Tua, but you don't know who these guys are going to put as they QB1.
And it seems like it'll take even if those quarterbacks hit, Cincinnati needs a lot of help over the next few years.
Exactly. And Lamar, I think his only challenge going forward once Big Ben leaves is going to be Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns. And that's if Baker Mayfield plays great. And at the end of the day, it's still the Cleveland Browns. So you can't just crown these guys. Baltimore's been to the playoffs. They're consistent. They have a consistent head coach. Yep. So that's why I think Lamar can go on that run. And Deshaun Watson, you know, in his division, you have Jacksonville right now, who I don't think is going to compete. You know, the Colts can with Jacoby Brissett. You want to see where they'll go because the Texans are not just a guaranteed sure lock.
The Texans, though, to your point, you were saying this for the show, they're the only team in that division who knows who their quarterback is. The Jags don't know. The Colts, Jacoby, I think they're a little ambivalent on him. And the Titans, Tannehill's a pending free agent and had just had a career season. The Texans know it's going to be Deshaun for the next decade. No one else in that division knows that.
But if the question is how far can they go? Can they make a run like the three guys before them? When you look at these three guys, plus maybe a Josh Allen, these are mobile quarterbacks. These are dual-threat quarterbacks. These are guys that expose themselves because they're out of the pocket. Doesn't that in and of itself mean it's going to be a shorter professional shelf life for them, that you're not going to see him 15, 16, 17 years in the league?
I just think the game is changing. Once these guys learn to slide, I'm a big fan of Russell Wilson because he scrambles and he slides, so you don't worry about his safety. I think the league in 7 years to 10 years, everybody's going to have a mobile quarterback. They're going to feel like right now, like pocket quarterbacks would not sustain with the pass rushers in this league, how fast, how defensive coordinators just send crazy blitzes from everywhere. I don't think pocket quarterbacks would be the end in the NFL, so everyone will have a running quarterback.
And I think we're already seeing it. And by the way, so I think for Lamar, there is a real question about how long the shelf life is because so much of his success is based on on his athleticism. Now, he has improved massively as a passer, but he is similar to use, we were just doing NBA highlights, a great NBA leaper. You are concerned, what will that game age like? Unlike a jump shooter, you say the game is going to age fine. Deshaun and Patrick Mahomes have escapability and have mobility, but they are throwers first. Patrick, if he never ran the football, would be the best quarterback in football. If he had no mobility whatsoever, he'd be the best quarterback in football. Deshaun, if he never rushed for a first down, just rushed to escape the blitz, he would still be a top 8 quarterback in this league. Now, I don't know that they will have 15 to 20 years the way Tom Brady did, but Peyton didn't even have 20 years. Peyton was more on the 15-year side of things.
But I guess I was asking because I look at a guy like Carson Wentz, who, if he, for the most part, all his injuries came from escaping the pocket and running, and he is a great passer of the ball, but where he's limited is when he does expose himself. And I just wonder if there's going to be a little bit of a disconnect, because you're going to want to keep these guys safe so they have prolonged careers and not expose them too much.
It's fair, but I also wonder if the athleticism for guys, once to Brandon's point, they learn how to avoid some contact.
Right.
If the athleticism can help you avoid injuries, if you can avoid the big hit, if you can be escapable, and if you can be mobile within the pocket so you're not a sitting duck back there, because I agree with you. I think the new era of not just the prototype pocket passer, I think that is soon to be not a forgotten, but a relic of the past. Ryan Tannehill played wide receiver in college. He's in this round. Deshaun Watson was around to go. Lamar was around to go. Patrick obviously has the escapability. And Aaron Rodgers, we don't talk about it a lot, but he's got some wiggle to him as well. The only typical prototype drop-back passer left, and Russell Wilson just got knocked out as well, is Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo and Kirk Cousins of the final 8 were the only old-school quarterbacks left. Jimmy's the only one left of the final 4.
Look, it's fun watching the transition, at least, for the quarterback position. All right, we'll take a break. Coming up, one Cowboy guaranteeing a trip to the Super Bowl next season. Hear from him next on First Things First. Good morning. A big morning here on the show, and it's going to be fun. Hall of Famer Dan Marino and Super Bowl champ Torrey Holt will be joining the conversation a little bit later, which is exciting. But we're going to start this morning with the team chasing their own Lombardi Trophy, and that's the now team to beat, Kansas City Chiefs. They're officially the favorites to win Super Bowl 54 this year. Some would say just making it to Miami would be enough for a franchise who hasn't been to the Super Bowl since 1970. But with reigning MVP Patrick Mahomes leading an offense that looks unstoppable, just making it might not be enough. Brandon, I'll start with you. Would anything shy of winning the Super Bowl be a failure for the Chiefs at this point, with the season they've had?
It definitely won't be a failure because of the season they had. We have to pump our brakes on the Kansas City Chiefs a little bit. I know they're a great team, but they're not the 07 Patriots who went 16 games, winning during the regular season, and then when they got to the postseason, you felt like they should finish it off. This is a team that should have been the 5th seed if the Patriots wouldn't have laid an egg. They had a lot of hiccups during the season, with Mahomes having a dislocated knee and Matt Moore coming in for a while. Then Tyreek Hill get injured, and then Damian Williams get injured, and then the defense played horrible at the beginning of the year. Yeah, they're 19th in scoring defense weeks 1 through 10, 11 through 17. That's when they picked it up, and now they're first. And then in passing, they was 8th. Now they're 13th. But in total defense, they was 22nd weeks 1 through 10, and now they're 9th. So the defense picked it up during the latter part of the season. So this is a team that hasn't been destined all year on this road for the Super Bowl. I think they picked it up, and in this last playoff game, when Mahomes put up 51, that's what got us going about the Chiefs. But I definitely don't think it's a failure right now.
And like you said, they did get a lot of help from the Patriots getting out early, and the Ravens as well.
Well, but that to me is part of the story. So I understand the logic that if they win this week, and they will, and they make it to their first Super Bowl in 50 years, that with Mahomes being there, and you're probably going to be up against either one of the greatest quarterbacks ever in Aaron Rodgers or the dominant team in the NFC this year, the Niners, you lose in the Super Bowl in a close game, Mahomes in year 3. How could that be anything other than a really successful season? But here's why it would be, failure might be a touch strong, but a massive disappointment. Because of all those things that happened, because you are not guaranteed the exceptional health that they currently have. Very often you can be skating above the fray, and then in week 15, a critical player goes down, and that derails you. That's not the case. The Chiefs suffered their injuries early, and now aside from Juan Thornhill, the safety who had been playing great, they've got all their key players in. And even the Juan Thornhill injury turned out to maybe in a moment be a blessing in disguise because who replaced him? Daniel Sorensen.